So we've already done this for EU. If you haven't seen that, be sure to go watch that one too. I'll link it in the description. Today, I'm going to be power ranking the 10 main teams for NA for the fall split of RLCS X. Without wasting too much time, let's just go ahead and get into it. At number 10, I have the Sonics. Dapper out, J Russ in. I don't know why they kicked Dapper. I really don't. It must be some internal issues within the roster because from an outsider's perspective, it just doesn't make any sense. Sathu was the weakest player on that team for me, so I don't really understand what's going on. But hey, most roster moves aren't performance related anyway. Number 9, Pittsburgh Knights. Reddles left, and so they picked up Illusion. I actually like Illusion, and I think he's a solid player, but I have no faith in AJ. When he pops off, he really pops off. But when he's not popping off, he's usually finding ways to make life rough for the rest of his team. And I don't really like Gyro as a third man. I like him on offense more, but on a team with Illusion and AJ, we both know where on the field he's going to spend most of his time. Not really all too hopeful for these guys. At 8, I have Rat Enterprises, which if you don't know is basically Cloud9, without their org and without Squishy, now getting AXB in his place. Unlike the other two teams before them, I think Rat Enterprises have some potential. Torment moved and finally got some good internet, and if Gimmick can climb back to the striker we know he can be, then I think this team has a chance to be really solid. We've gotten to see a little bit of them so far in recent community tournaments, and I think they look decent. 7, EUnited. Roll Diz out, Wonder Mike in. I don't know where I should really put this team because we haven't gotten to see them play, but I'm curious to see how Wonder Mike does on this squad. Wonder Mike is a really good upcoming player, and we already know that Hoxer is a beast. It's going to come down to Wonder Mike proving his worth and Ajax stepping up to the quality of the rest of his team, which unfortunately I don't have a ton of faith in, which is why I have them in 7th. 6, Alpine Esports, previously Affinity, one of the new teams that came up from the Rival Series. RIP Rival Series, by the way. These guys look super good. I actually feel guilty putting them at 6th, but every team is just too good. I don't feel like I really have a choice. I have a lot of faith in this team, and I expect to see them do well. I would be surprised to see this team struggle once RLCS kicks in. I'll be keeping a close eye on these guys. 5, Team Envy, Illusion out, Turbo Pulsa in. Well, they got Turbo, so we know how this goes. They'll kind of dawdle around until it's time for Turbo to face K-Dop in another Grand Finals. But seriously, imagine me being forced to put these guys at number 5. 4-time world champion Turbo, Mist, who's one of the best players in NA, and Atomic, who I think on his day is the best player in NA. RLCS is going to be ridiculous. At number 4, Rogue, Wonder out, Turinturo in. If you don't know Turinturo, this dude is wild. They picked him up off of the Charlotte Phoenix and he is insane. His mechanical ability is on par, if not even better than First Killers. Kronovi also seems like he has found the new form recently. I guess being surrounded by all these mechanical gods has them on the grind. I have them at 4, but they could easily come in and beat anyone, so we'll see. And 3rd, G2. I've said it a million times and I'll say it again. Many will disagree with me, but I think that G2 have the highest peak in Rocket League. When G2 are on point, it's their game. There's basically nothing you can do. You basically have to hope that the other G2 shows up that can't hit their shots and are constantly over-aggressing. More than any other team, I would say G2 are in complete control of their outcome. Obviously, all the teams are, but realistically, if G2 pops off, I don't know anybody that can stop them. They just have a problem with consistency, so I could see them here in 3rd, or 1st, or 8th. I don't know, man, I just make videos. 2nd, Space Station. AXB out, Reddles in. Everybody knows that Reddles is good, but I still think that he's super underrated. He does so much for his team, even though most of it goes unnoticed. Space Station was already one of the best teams in NA, Arsenal is nuts, and Typical is probably at the top of NA, and now with Reddles, I think that they are going to look even stronger. I can't really see them dropping below 4th or 5th, but I can definitely see them climbing to the top of NA if they can gather some chemistry and find their form. And number 1, NRG. About as much of a surprise as when I put Vitality in 1st, right? This roster is just stacked. Justin, Garrett G, and Squishy. Let me repeat that one more time in case you didn't grasp that. Justin, Garrett G, and Squishy. What is that? That's literally broken. It sounds like someone's fantasy team. Like, I literally don't need to say anything about this team because everyone watching this knows how good they can be. The only way that this team doesn't succeed in some way is if they manage to get in each other's ways, which I don't see that happening. Alright guys, there are my power rankings for North America. I think any of the top 5 teams could come in and climb to the top. Now that the format of RLCS is different, it's more about doing well consistently than necessarily placing well in one event, but I still wanted to order the teams from who I thought was the weakest to who I thought was the strongest. Sort of. Like I said, top 5 is basically a coin toss. So we'll just have to see how all this plays out, and it's going to be insane. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of this list, who you would have higher, who you would have lower. I read them all. Much love, guys. Peace.